May 25th, 1781. Dearest Papa, I must really snatch a little time, but you may not wait too long for a letter. Tomorrow my first concert takes place in the Garten Imperial Pleasure Grounds. At 8:30, her servant Martin is to come, and we will have still 6 visits to make. I must get them over by 11 o'clock, as I then go to Countess Rumbeck's pupil. Afterwards, I dine with Countess Thorn in her garden. The rehearsal of the music is to be in the evening. A symphony of von Sweden's, director of the court library, and one of mine are to be given. A dilettante, Madame Berger, is to sing. A boy of the name of Turk is to play a violin concerto. And Fräulein von Ohrenhammer and I are to play my concerto duet in E flat. And yes, do come in.
Well, Valet, didn't you hear me?
No. Is something the matter?
No, not at all. But you do have a messenger from Countess Thun in the parlour room. He is waiting for you, and rather impatiently at that.
What? Just now? But it's hardly time. But my letter. Oh, I feel like such an ass, but could I implore of you, or I suppose commission you to finish this letter for me, Stanzel? It's for my father. And seeing as I have to go, I don't wish my papa to think I've forgotten him. Tell him tell him I regret that I cannot finish this letter, and I would appreciate it if you could make it clear to him that I'll send another letter soon.
Me? You wish for me to finish your letter?
Please. I know you don't think highly of him, but this would mean a great deal to me.
Of course. I'll do my best.
Thank you. Adieu. And I'm sorry. Or something. I'll see you later, Stanzel. Herr Martin, 'tis good to see you. This is unexpected. I didn't think you'd come so soon.
He kissed me. He kissed me.
I cannot wait to see what can be accomplished through my work.
Herr Mozart, your good son, has just been summoned by Countess Thun, and he has not time to finish the letter to his dear father, which he much regrets, and requests me to let you know this, for, being post-day, he does not wish you to be without a letter from him. By next post-day, he will write again. I hope you will excuse my P.S., which cannot be so agreeable to you as what your son would have written. I beg my compliments to your amiable daughter, and I am your obedient friend, Constanze Weber.
May 31st, 1781. Dearest Father, the day before yesterday, Count Arco sent me a message to call on him at 12 o'clock, at which hour he would expect to see me. He repeatedly let me know he wished to see me, and so did Schurka. But as I hate discussions, when almost every word to which I am forced to listen is a lie, I punctually avoided going, and I should have continued to do the same, if he had not said that he had a letter from you. For which case, I went there accordingly. I cannot detail the whole conversation, but at my urgent request, it passed off without irritation on either side. In short, he placed everything before me in so friendly a manner that really one could have sworn it all come from his heart. I believe, however, that on his part he would not swear that it had come from mine. In reply to his plausible speeches, I told him with perfect calmness and courtesy, and in the most good-humoured way in the world, the simple truth. And he had not a word to say against it.
I want the truth, Herr Mozart, in regards to what went down between you and Archbishop Colorado. He claims you threatened him with violence.
Firstly, your grace, I did nothing of the sort. I loathe confrontation, Count Arco. Truly, ask of anyone that knew me while under the Archbishop's service. You can ask Schurka, Moore, Brule, Clymeron, Cincinnati. Any of them shall vouch for me.
Enough. Calm yourself. I have taken the liberty of calling on one witness. He's waiting beyond the doors.
Good afternoon, Herr Arco. Herr Mozart. However may I be of assistance?
Good afternoon. I'm grateful you've come. I would like for you to bear witness to the character of Herr Mozart here. He says he is a peaceful man, that he loathes violence and did not, in any way, threaten the Archbishop some weeks ago when he left the lodgings.
I recall his dismissal. Yes?
Good. Then you will be of much usefulness. I ask of you to tell me the truth, plain and honest. Can you vouch for him, Schlauker? Is Herr Mozart truly a man that would not resort to violence in the heat of an argument?
Indeed he isn't. I know Herr Mozart well, sire, for we served together under the Archbishop for many years. And I can honestly say, while he's fallible, as we all are, he certainly never showed any signs of tendency towards violent outbursts.
I appreciate your candor. It's a welcome change from everything else.
Is this the honest plain truth? Do you swear before God that you hold no falsehoods upon your tongue?
Of course, Count Arco. I assure you, this is the truth. By Providence's mercy, Herr Mozart would never dare threaten any man with physical violence. He may grumble, and sometimes argue, but it's merely heated words. A slip of the tongue.
So I see. And what is the truth of the matter? If the Archbishop has, as you apparently seem to be implying, Herr Mozart has lied.
You shall gladly have the truth, sir. With all plainness and honesty. I tell you that I did not threaten the man. I simply asked his grace if my work did not satisfy. And then he, in turn, called me a knave and insinuated that I had threatened him, when I had nary said a harsh word of such passion against him.
Colorado also reported you told him he would rue the day he let go of you. Did you say this?
Of course I did. I won't deny that I was upset, but I never threatened to harm the Archbishop. I could do no harm and would never do harm. I'm a peaceful man, Your Grace. I don't like violence, truly. It turns my stomach sour. As Schurka said, I'm a fallible man. I have had a slip of the tongue as much as the Archbishop did. Holy man or not. Colorado is certainly not a god himself. I am not the only party at a fault here.
Well, the departure caused quite a stir, and it's been a full 3 weeks of dealing with the aftermath.
Yes, I imagine my departure did cause quite the stir. After all, I was his prize. I was the Archbishop's performing little imp, whom he took pleasure in bullying with great force and cruel words. And with God as my witness, I took it in stride. I took the full force of his cruelty, often without a word of vicious impertinence towards him. But mark my words, if I would stand there any longer and take his verbal lashings, so, I suppose, after he had his fill of my offensive behaviour, he dismissed me, and I left. It's as simple as that. Now, onto a more pressing business.
What business?
Excuse me, sir. I hate to interrupt, but I must return to my own duties. May I have permission to leave your office?
Yes, on your way.
Adieu, Herr Mozart, Herr Arco.
What's this?
Call it a tribute for the troubles of the Archbishop. I wish to put this entire affair behind me, and I assume that you are owed some form of compensation for such astute actions, Your Grace. I insist that you take it, and let us be done with the Archbishop's folly.
I refuse. You'd best give the money to one of the valets, and your memorial of proper dismissal. I can no longer take part in this affair.
I'm afraid I don't understand your meaning, sir.
My meaning is plain. Herr Mozart, this affair and your part in it is hardly over. You realise that, don't you?
Why should it continue? What more is there to discuss, honestly? The Archbishop dismissed me. He treated me with much contempt for months in the time since we arrived in Vienna, good sir. And, as I was removed, we have nothing to speak on. I found lodgings elsewhere, and I'm content to pursue my own creative endeavours.
He is not satisfied.
Not satisfied? Then he should demand it. Truly, if the Archbishop has more to say to me, then shouldn't he be here with us, Count Arco? Why is he not?
Well,
my father wrote to me asking for my return home in light of this incident. Am I to understand in the course of our talking that the Archbishop is no longer in Vienna? That he has returned to Salzburg?
no, he's still here. He simply isn't in his apartments currently.
Then what good would it do were I now to return home? The Archbishop is here, and at some point I surmise he'll return to Salzburg, but despite his insistence to keep fighting me, though I see no reason to fight, my future is here, and quite beyond his control.
Whatever do you mean by that?
Well, in the course of a few months, without any fresh insult, he was resolved to demand my discharge, for I never would nor could serve him any longer, for such a meagre salary, nor to his satisfaction, as we have explicitly established.
And pray why not? On the merit of the salary, that is? Are you quite so greedy that it made you a lazy servant?
Lazy? Poppycock! My reasoning is because I never could live happily or contentedly in a place where I was so badly paid, and that I should constantly be thinking, oh, if I were only there or elsewhere. But if I were to be paid in such a manner that should not be required to think of other places, then I should and could be perfectly satisfied. And if the Archbishop had chosen to pay me at the rate which I requested for guaranteed success, I was ready to set off for home the very day he dismissed me. But as it was not so, and given the circumstances, I am perfectly content here in Vienna. The fact is, if I returned to Salzburg, Your Grace, I would do a disservice to my own honour and the progress I've made since leaving the Archbishop's services. Oranges and lemons, says the bells of St. Clement's. When I grew grey, says the bells of Old Bailey. When I grow rich, the bells of Shoreditch. Says the bells of Stephanie. Says the great ballad bow. Oh, lemons, says the bells of St. Clement's. When will you pay me, says the bells of Old Bailey. Says the bells of Shoreditch. Says the bells of Stepney. Lemon, says the bells of St. Clement's. Says the bells of St. Martin's. You pay me, says the bells of Old Bailey. Will I rich, says the bells of Shoreditch. When will that be, says the bells of Stephanie. I do not know. Bow. Pretty parrot. St. Clement's. St. Clement's bow. Starlings. Starlings? No. Bow. Singer. Singer. Oh. St. Clement's Shoreditch. Pretty Shoreditch. Oranges and lemons. Bells of St. Clement's. St. Martin. Funny name. Martin. Ah, there! Now that's perfectizzoni. The last opera I had for Countess Thran at the end of May was absolutely sublime. It was a success in every right, but unfortunately not much success in the days after. I've decided to attempt further compensation for my works and my talents by taking on pupils, but not too many. I aim to be well paid, of course, but I need time to compose. I need to find more avenues to give concerts. That's where I'll thrive. Unfortunately, it seems I've got a little competition in the field for students. They tell me my prices are perplexing and preposterous. Why, I even had one man tell me he could do better for his daughter of a man I know from the court of the Emperor's Circle. An Italian called Salieri. His name feels like poison in my mouth. And I've only ever been in his presence briefly back in April, while attending an event with the Archbishop. Salieri was slated to become the Kapellmeister, though I know that all this is merely because of his Italian origin. At once I saw the issue. To be frank, those damn Italians have always been a thorn in my side. I've been to Italy, and it wasn't pleasant. I swear, their ideas of opera, heavens, it could leave one's ears bleeding. Anyone who dares to compare the two of us is completely unfair, and it was rightly so. As the next words out of this buffoon's mouth to the poor gentleman who told me Salieri would be the better teacher was so flabbergasting and unbelievable, I believe I could have very well fallen out of my chair just hearing it last week.
Indeed, Herr Mozart, your fee is preposterous. Why could I give my daughter's skills to Salieri for better? Would you believe that he gives lessons to his pupils for nothing?
Well, I wasn't aware that my gifts of musical inclination was meant to be sold for nothing. Tell me, do you buy food and comfort with nothing? Or do you need mother's goose's golden eggs in order to enjoy something? My price and my time are a valuable commodity, and I shan't waste giving it away for free, sir. Chew on that.
If that's your view, sir, you will excuse me if I do not empty my pockets and waste my time further.
Perhaps I may have gone a bit too far with that. But my tongue has a mind of its own. And it's not unfair. It's entirely true, all that I said. I scarcely keep what funds I already have. There's rent to be paid. There's expenses to be dealt with. I need materials for my ever-growing compositions. Not to mention needing to provide what I can for my father and sister now. So, this kiss-ass wit of an Italian can give lessons for nothing. Ha! He must live on something. However, I can only guess it's mounds and mounds of ducats. That's what he has. I'm not Salieri, and I don't live on mounds of ducats. If that makes me unfair to charge what I do, then so be it. After all, what can this knave, yes, that's what he is. What can this knave, this Italian, have that I don't? Rubbish all. Stupid students. Stupid students. Sing a song at sixpence, a pocket full of rye, 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie. When the pie was opened, the bird began to sing. Wasn't that a dainty dish to sink before the king? King was in his counting house, counting out his money. The queen was in her parlour, eating bread and honey. The maid was in the garden, hanging out the clothes, when down came a blackbird and picked off her nose. I'd like a bird to peck off your nose, Salieri. Ha! That sounds like a nursery rhyme. La fa la da da. Ha! Salieri, Salieri, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With golden shells and a pot full of bells and pretty pupils all lined in a bloody...
Well, Fiddle? Heavens me, you look awful.
Oh, do I? I suppose it's jolly good of you to notice. But if you cared that much, be aware that I feel bloody awful, and quite frankly, I think I've developed a headache.
Well, I hope this helps you then.
What the hell does Count Arco... He wishes to have a meeting with me again, and about possible employment and a chance to perform back in the Archbishop's court. What? Oh, bloody Count Arco. This is preposterous. This isn't right. This is unfair. How dare he? How bloody stupid. How dare he? How dare he? Stupid. stupid, Count Arco. How dare he? How's this possible? How? Providence strike me. This is an insult. Absolute rubbish. That fiend. That swine. Well, I'll be damned. He's offering in quite a considerable amount of ducats. How much?
I'll leave you to it then, Herr Mozart. My deepest apologies for disturbing you.
Wait, Constanze. A moment, please.
Yes?
I didn't mean to snap like I just did. At you. I truly didn't mean to snarl like that. Constanze. Stanzel. My Stanzi. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I won't lie. It did. It stunned me. So I'll just...
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I beg of you. Please forgive me. I know I can say it over and over and over again, but my tongue is blasphemous, and I know it's a problem. But please, don't think it was anything to do with you, Stanzi. Don't run away. Please.
Undoubtedly. Can we skip to the part where we discuss what this is truly about, Wolferl?
I am under a lot of pressure after the work for Countess Thom ended, but more than that, there's this Italian. His name is Salieri, and he's taking on pupils for nothing while I'm being treated like some fiend, like a swindler peddling false wares. Just because I need the funds, and I'm charging a little more. I'm so sorry.
Did this frustration bloom during the meeting with Herr Elias last week,
Yes.
Wolfie?
And I'm frustrated, Stanzel. I'm frustrated and angry and tired and lacking funds and... I'm stupid sometimes. I'm very stupid, Constanze, and I'm sorry. I was cross when I answered the door. Please, don't be angry with me. Please, Stanzi. I'm so sorry. My temper is wicked. And I am wicked. I beg of you, please forgive me.
Why do you let these frustrations invoke your anger?
Because I'm very, very stupid. And I know I let my obstacles boil my blood. I know, Stanzi. I have a temper. A stupid temper. And sometimes it's justified, but perhaps not when it spills out onto you. Oh, Lord. What an imbecile! What an imbecile! Stupid fool! Stupid idiot! Ah. Stupid temper! Vile man! Wicked man! Wicked! Evil man! I hurt Stanzi, my Stanzel! Stupid tongue! Stupid blasphemous tongue!
Coffee.
Stupid!
No, not of that.
Stupid.
Wolfie!
Stupid
Wolfie, no!
stupid tongue! Wicked wicked!
Wolfie?
Stop it! Stop it! Stupid tongue! You wicked man! Oh, stupid fiend! Stupid fiend! Oh, stupid man!
Fee, no. None of
Why?
that.
Why?
Hurt yourself. Wolfie.
I'm sorry, Stanzi. I'm worthy of a beauty like you. Your heart is too good. And I'm a beast. Like in that story I read while in France. La belle et la bête. La bête is an ugly, cursed man with a vile temper. He just doesn't know how to keep it. Just as I don't. I'm so sorry, Stanzi. I'm sorry.
Wolfie, you're not a beast. Don't think such things of yourself. It's all right. In fact, let's go out. I think it's best to get some air.
You need some air. I imagine you would. Dealing with my wicked tongue would cause anyone to need air.
No, we should get some air. Together.
We? You and I. Together.
Yes. Let's just drop the subject for now. After all, you've been cooped up in this house since your last concert for Countess Thun, and I think it's high time to step away from frustrating discussions of Italian competitors, composing, and simpletons for employers. At least for the moment.
But won't that look improper? The two of us out together, without your mother or sisters.
Impropriety? Fine. Let the whole of Vienna talk. Besides, only we know the truth. Now come, let's go out and stretch our legs, Wolfettel.
All right. You're right. Where shall we go?
I say we saddle our horses and simply go for a ride. How's that?
A ride would be lovely. I'll clean myself up and meet you outside. All right then?
Yes. I'll see you.
Something beautiful, you know. For you, I bleed myself dry. For you, I bleed myself dry.
Ready?
Yes.
Wolfettel seemed quiet as we mounted our horses and took off riding together away from home. His gaze is distant, like he's lost in another world entirely. I can tell there's something not quite right still, even though we dropped the subject from earlier. In the months since Wolfettel has been lodging with us, I feel I've hardly scratched the surface of who he is. Despite of what I know, of course. It all seems so disjointed. I know he's dedicated fully to his work, and it's clear that he was often a lonely child, given what he said at the dance. I can't imagine in having gifts like his recognized so early, and what that means for his life. I know Wolfettel has a sense of humor and playfulness that lights up a whole room, And yes, as he so readily acknowledges, he has a temper. But I don't feel as if I have the whole picture. And I wonder if anyone ever will. Even me. Will I ever know him fully? He just seems so off in his own world and occupied by the difficulties in front of him.
Huh? What? Oh. Sorry. I'm here.
Are you all right?
What? Did you ask me something?
Yes. Are you all right, Wolfgang? Truly?
Oh, I'm all right. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Wolfie, is this about Elias still?
Yes. A little. I don't want to hurt you, Constanze. I would never. I could never. I suppose what I'm trying to say, and rather poorly at that, is you must think me childish, and I wouldn't fault you for such thoughts. You may even think me ludicrous, arrogant, and a complete arse. I act out brashly. I let my frustrations get the best of me. To be fair, I'm entirely unworthy of kindness. Especially such kindness from you. I snap at a drop of a quill, and I wouldn't be surprised if you wished to berate me. I deserve as much.
Well, I think much of you, Wolfgang. Not a single bit of what you've listed could be counted among the things I would use to describe how I feel towards you.
I hardly see how you could think otherwise. Anyone I've been employed by thinks I'm a knave. Anyone I stand in the company with thinks me as lazy, abrasive, incompetent. I'm a babbling monkey, an uncultured buffoon. I get distracted too easily. I speak my mind, and you've witnessed the worst of my quirks. And in all reality, I'm nothing of the sort the people think I am. Sometimes, perhaps, I say things I don't mean, and act in ways I don't intend. Sometimes I do these things, and I know it's my own fault, but I don't wish it to be so. And other times, it's not as if I enjoy acting in those ways. I can't help it. I really can't. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing.
I'm sure you have colleagues, don't you? Friends? Surely they think much of you in the highest regard.
Friends? Colleagues? Not really. I don't have time for friendship back in Salzburg, remember? I had one, of course. But the minute I left for Vienna, back in March, we lost all correspondence. Herr. All my life was nothing but comings and goings. Things weren't permanent, Stanzi. And here, I may as well have less time to make companions out of anyone. I'm always trying to keep my head above the water. Who has time for companionship? I certainly don't.
If that's true, does that include myself and my sisters? Oh, no.
Well, I mean, you're... Well,
Yes?
Truly. She baffles me even now. I can hardly utter a word without fumbling like a fool in front of her. She puzzles me. Truly she does. She puzzles my heart, my mind, my very mouth. I've been a fiend to her twice now, and she hasn't once battered me verbally or lashed out as I expected she would. Yet most people do, the Archbishop for one, and my father for another. Well, I suppose a rare few didn't think little of me. The kitchen staff, perhaps, but they were underfoot like I was. The Archbishop looked on them as with much disdain as he looked at me, with much the same. But this is different, entirely different. Why should Miss Webber think anything more of me, despite how much I've begun to truly appreciate her admirable qualities? I don't have the time nor the means to pursue her, even despite what I think I began to feel for her that night a month ago. I still blame the fever, after all. I hardly know Miss Webber, and dare I to dream that she is a friend, or a mere accomplice? We've only known each other a month, and I, perhaps, have acted in a manner she misunderstands. Not that I don't like her. I do. Truly I do. I think. But it's all a complicated puzzle. I'm sorry, Miss Webber. I'm a little lost for words.
It's all right. There's plenty of time for talking later. For now, come on. I'll race you to the edge of town and towards the glade.
Oh, getting competitive now, are we, Stanzel? Now that's Oh heavens, it's unfair, completely unfair, you cheat! You had a head start! Oh.
Am I cheating? I was hardly aware.
It's good of me to remind you that you entirely just did.
Truly. Must it be required? Reminders, that is.
Indeed. Just as you remind me often of many things.
Do I?
Aye. Often of meals and silly little things of the like. Heavens me, you're a silly goose, Miss Webber. Very silly indeed.
Well, one must have a sense of humour and fashion themselves as rather ridiculous in order to survive the tides of viperous tongues.
Very true, Miss Weber. It seems I've got you. Oh, Stanzi. Looks like I've won.
Have we gone too far, Wolf Fiddle?
I'm not too sure. Perhaps we did.
And it's rather tight, don't you think?
A touch so... I agree. But then again, it's my first time in this place. It's almost magical, Stanzi. Perhaps we've fallen into the kingdom of Back.
The kingdom of what?
The kingdom of Back. My kingdom. When I was a little boy, my sister and I had a land we called our own. And I was the queen, and I was the king in this land. We could eat sweets whenever we wanted. We could do whatever we pleased. Myself, my sister, and all the children who are welcome there. But you see, everything in the kingdom of Back is in reverse. Everything goes backwards, you see. The people, the animals, the talking. Perhaps we've fallen into it. In fact, I think we have. Can you hear how the birds are singing backwards, Stanzi?
Wolfie, you're quite silly.
I suppose I am. But look, I think that's... Aha! That's the Fairy Queen's glade up ahead. Come on, Stanzi, we're nearly there. But...
Hello? Ima Lensta? Hello?
Hello, it is I, King Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Hello? 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 It is I, Wolfgang.
Your world is beautiful, Wolfie.
I'm glad to welcome you into it, Stanzi. Now that my sister and I separated, and she's always so busy. Would you be the kingdom's new queen? I'm sure there can be more than one queen of Back. I'm the king, after all, and here in the fairy glade we can make the rules.
If you shall have me, I will gladly be a queen of Back.
Yes, indeed. From this day forward, you are Queen Stanzi, fairest, most beautiful and gentle of all queens, a friend to every elf and fairy in the land. Do you solemnly swear to protect this land for as long as you reign, Queen Stanzi?
I do.
Then
Your
rise
Majesty.
up, my dear. You are now the queen of this precious kingdom.
I, King Mozart, I shall do my best to protect it.
This makes me happy. Thank you for not thinking my little story was odd. I never shared the world with anyone but Nanau. But then again, I never had anyone to share it with.
You're a wonder, Wolfgang. And I'm glad you trusted me enough to let me into your precious kingdom of back. I won't share the secret, I promise.
Of course. The kingdom of back is only for special people. People like you and me. And Nanau, if she ever wishes to return. Wow! Would you look at that, Stancil? The birds! Look at the birds flying high in the sky! They're so beautiful! All their colours and songs.
You like birds, Wolfgang?
I do, yes. When I was a boy, I had a canary, and I used to ask Nanau about him all the time when Papa and I travelled. Oh, I loved him so, Stancil. His songs were absolutely beautiful. Birds are natural singers, you know.
I was unaware. Would you tell me more?
If you want to know. Sure.
I'd be delighted to hear tales of your canary, Wolfie. Tell me.
I suppose I found my little canary was good company. Presents. I wasn't Wolfgang, Amadeus, Mozart, the child prodigy. I was nobody special, really. I mean, if I wasn't composing or something, I like to make up stories and fantastical worlds like the Kingdom of Back, and if Nanau wasn't listening, he did. There wasn't anyone else to hear me.
That sounds sad to me.
I suppose, looking back, it is, from a certain perspective. But Papa always had us on the move, Nanau and I. My gifts, her gifts. We were both just, I suppose, a wonder, an act. Oh, watch the boy who can play blindfolded. Watch the boy who can play without seeing his hands. We escaped to a land only we could touch, in the greatest depths of our minds, because where else was there to go? It's all we had.
Answer me this, then, if you can.
Yes?
Do you love your papa, Wolfgang? Even with all that? A sacrifice of your childhood for this? Or this isolation?
Well, yes. Of course I do. I know we differ on him, on his affections, and to some degree perhaps you're right about what you said a month ago at the dance, Stanzi. But on the other hand, he took care of me all my life. He managed my funds. He managed the career I had from the time I was 5 until I came here. He managed a lot of things. And I believed it was for my greater good. I'd be nothing without my father. Even though we quarrel and bicker, and he said some unkind words.
And you love him? Even though he said unkind words to you, and he said unkind things about my family from what Mama seemed to convey?
Heavens, no. I mean, yes, I It's complicated, especially on the notion that he said a lot of unkind things, on a great number of things, including my failings from his perspective. I admit this. Would you believe he had the audacity to tell me I had never showed him any love, simply because I refused to be a victim of the Archbishop's bullying?
Pompous swine.
He's traditional and stubborn as a mule, but let's change the subject, please. I know my papa is a point of contention for you and I, but he's not here, Stanzel. And you don't really know him at all. Though, if it's any consolation, I feel I don't recognize him anymore. He's a stranger to me. I take comfort in at least knowing that. He's changed. And he's completely different to what I know as a child. And I see it. I truly do.
Right. Well then, can I ask, seeing as you mentioned fantastical worlds, are you a fan of Shakespeare? I recall you asking for my father's collection.
Oh, I am. The collection is beautiful, by the way. Thank you for sharing it with me. I was partial to his plays, and growing up, I remember seeing a few of my family. They always subject me to such elegance in the arts. And my mamma was fond of Shakespeare, for sure. God rest her soul.
That must have been hard to lose her.
It was. My father blamed me for her passing. They're so free, aren't they?
The birds? Yes, I suppose they are.
I wish I could be like them when I was little, free to just go wherever the winds took my heart. I wish for that now. It would be better than feeling trapped and stuck at the mercy of everyone else.
I suppose they are. I understand. More than you know. How lovely it would be to see as they do. A whole world free to explore from on high.
It sounds like a great adventure to me.
May I tell you something?
I'm all ears, Stanzi.
I know you believe you haven't a friend in the world, Wolfgang. However, it's simply not true. And even though you have made yourself think that you're alone in the fight against the odds, I tell you quite plainly to dwell no more on such a lie. Because I'm right here. I want to be the friend you've needed, a companion in humour and good jesting, and even the person who stands with you against the armies of obstacles in front of you. If you'll let me.
Stanzel, I'm grateful. I don't know what to say. I would be lying if I didn't admit that your care for me has confused me and completely perplexed me. It's not entirely something I've had much of, but I believe you. I believe in your kindness, and I appreciate your concerns. If you'll have me as your faithful friend in honour and in every trial, I'm not sure how good of one I can be to you, but I'll try.
That's all I could want, Wolfgang. You make me laugh, and you've brought me back a joy that had died when my father did. That's...
Oh, Stanzi. I didn't realise I made you feel that way.
You know, when my papa passed, it was as if the light had left the world I always knew. Everything good turned to dust and ash, and the colour faded from evergreen to melancholy. I didn't think I would laugh again. Then Sophia said to me that you brought joy back into the house. The way Papa filled our lives with music and joy and so much laughter. Even in difficult times. Even though the funds were tight and the debt exponential. I knew joy. And it's why you perplex me.
In what way?
It's just... how could such a cold-hearted man as Leopold Mozart raise someone like you when you're completely wonderful? You're a hard worker and he was so... cruel. A father is meant to be loving and teach us how to live fulfilled lives, but yours... yours... I'm sorry, Wolferdel. Oh, goodness me, I'm sorry. Look how foolish I've made myself in front of you, Wolfgang.
No, you haven't. I felt grief's hand, Stanzi. It strikes as swift as lightning when we least expect it. I felt that weight. The weight that you can't explain. It sits in one's heart like chain of iron, and it doesn't let go. But you aren't a fool. You're a person. And I understand that pain you feel. Truly I do. I miss my mother to this day. She passed a long time ago.
You're a good man, Wolferdel. A kind man, a mild temper or not. Your heart is the kindest and warmest I've met in a long time. Don't allow the bitterness of blinded eyes to make you feel otherwise.
And you have the most beautiful heart, Constanze Weber. It is a kind heart, a caring heart. Don't let that mother's of yours drown it in her own bitterness. I appreciate the works you do. I see how much you do for them and for me, and I would give you the world if I could. But until then, I'll do better. To be your friend. I'll work on this foul tongue of mine. If you can have patience with me.
It'll be a journey for both of us. But I'll try.
So shall I. Thank you, Constanze.